Welcome back. Once again, Game 11 about to go underway between Enemy and Nilmar as well. Very interesting so far today. We should take a little look at the brackets if we can in a moment and see exactly where everyone stands so far, because there's 15 games regular scheduled aggro, but it looks like we could keep going deeper in the night.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that. You've got Copa still the problem. They're sitting at 2-2 through their 4 games, and then you've got Noble and Neilmah both at 1-2. Enemy, they're sitting at 2-1. In memory of Gabe is the only one that feels comfortable right now, I think, sitting at 3-0.
And they were almost qualified with how these games are going and the fact that teams keep trading out wins and losses here. Memory of Game is sitting pretty, so 3 wins is what you're looking at right now to look at qualification. Not 100% just yet, but it will be as the last few games develop. Enemy versus Neilmah, as you can see, 2 wins for Enemy, 1 win for Neilmah. Both played 3 games.
So Enemy, if they're able to win here, they at least guarantee themselves a spot at a tiebreaker situation.
Exactly.
They're not. They guarantee themselves that they can control their own destiny and make sure they make it without any sort of help from the other sets of teams. Neilmah really does need to find this victory for the same reasons, though, because they cannot really afford to take those 3 losses.
Yeah, it's almost in a situation where if you get 3 wins, 2 losses, you're in a tiebreaker, or 2 wins, 3 losses. Could also force tiebreakers around the 3rd position if teams end up that way as well. So heading into this one with picks and bans, we'll see exactly how Enemy versus Neilmah unfold.
And Enemy has looked very, very strong overall, though they do then end up dropping a game up against Astral Authority, who's probably looked like the weakest team here so far today. So really, you know, what enemy are we going to get? And that's the question we seem to have been asking ourselves for the last year with this squad.
Definitely indeed. Thanatos, Giannis banned out by Enemy here. Surprised they banned the Giannis themselves.
Yeah, me too.
When they do have Khaos in the mid lane that loves to run it.
Yeah, very, very surprising that we saw Venenu on it a little bit ago, so maybe they saw that and decided they didn't want to deal with it themselves. Have that first pick position again with the first pick, Ymir. Pain, not discouraged from the last time.
I was going to say, yeah, I think I've seen this tape before, at least with the Ymir first pick. But over to Nilmah, though, a lot of opportunities for them here. They're going to take the Izanami, Capri available as well if they so choose it, just because of the push power and not having to be scared of Thanatos.
No, and Veriziel's played that quite a bit. So again, Enemy ends up banning away 2 of their priority gods, but Nike still on the table, and that is selected there for Neilmah. I expect a Cupid pick here from Enemy. That seems to be what PandaCat likes into the Izanami. In fact, whenever the other team, whenever he picks Izanami, we've seen Enemy actually banning away that Cupid to keep it out of the hands of the enemy hunter, and that's exactly what it is going to be.
And Khaos going back to the Agni once again in the mid lane as well. So we'll see if Enemy go for the strategy we saw when they played the Agni last time, where they had the Thanatos.
Yeah.
It may be a different jungler here, looking to wrap around the back.
Around the back,
make a play.
Dashing through the wave, Path of Flames, one of the best level 1 clears available for mages. Super, super strong in that aspect.
And Thor as well now being picked up over Ratatoska, surprisingly enough. When we've discussed it, I guess Thor is very similar to Ratatoska in terms of what they'll bring to the jungle.
A little bit more mid-game damage, I would say, coming out of the Thor, and certainly safer poke out of the Thor. And that's the real big thing, is that the poke is significantly better from Thor than it is from Ratatoska, who really has to all in you to try and get that damage off. Athena and Kabrakan, 2 Guardian bands there for Enemy. Serket and Ratatoska taken away by Neilmah. Fafnir. Saw a lot of this in Europe yesterday, especially with guys like Frezzy who love to play it, but really haven't seen it at all so far here at NA today.
Wave clear pretty decent overall with the hammer, as long as you don't get body blocked on trying to throw it out into the minion wave. But not only that, the level 5 super safe on being ganked, because you can just avoid a lot of damage, get all your cooldowns back up again to disengage if you need to. And a
huge jump. You can't forget that gigantic leap that he gets whenever he's in dragon form. Tier going to be the selection for MrMakey in the solo lane, and then Susano all the way down to last pick. We saw a ton of success for this character yesterday in Europe. Veriziel known to play it very well. I love this pickup for Enemy.
And the final pick of Poseidon is probably PainDeViande's worst nightmare after having to deal with it last time he played this Ymir. We'll see if he can handle things a little bit different this time around. Obviously, with an Agni on the side, the walls and the bombs are going to be a nice combination.
It's going to be a little bit difficult there for Venenu in the middle lane, but I love this Poseidon pick. Look at how much trouble it causes for almost all of Enemy's roster. That cripple is going to be incredibly significant up against 4 out of the 5 picks for Enemy. And then we saw what Poseidon can do up against Ymir and just really abusing his immobile nature, trapping him in that whirlpool, gem of isolation on top of that. It's going to be very difficult for Pain to position well.
A lot of pressure then onto Venenu on this Poseidon to make sure he performs with these whirlpools at the right time, in the right situations to really shut down Enemy trying to make anything happen. Beginning of the game, keep an eye on the wall placements and the potential for invades and the proxy farms as well. we can see the red ward down at the right hand harpies right now.
And that's the right call, because we've seen Neilmah and Enemy both try and do some different starts, though it's really been Neilmah doing the proxy starts down by the Phoenix, and as you can see, Khaos and Verizial both sitting there in the middle lane waiting for any sort of shenanigans like that to happen, but it looks like Neilmah is content to kind of hang out on their own side for once.
But an interesting thing with the starting builds here, Kiki on the Nike in solo lane, gone for the Bluestone start. Now, obviously, Nike doesn't have massive amounts of abilities that proc this Bluestone over and over again. I guess
No.
Ren does, but
Ren is about it.
Death's Toll, with the cleave effects of her ability, it could give her a little bit more sustain overall.
I believe it allows Nike to clear one level earlier than if she were to pick up the Death Soul because of that Ren proc, but yeah, I think you're right. Overall, it's a little bit better.
Venenu found out the trap that Verizial and Khaos had set earlier in the day. Performed it again this time round, though. No beads were used by Venenu there. He has sustained 2 health potions he started with, but now Enemy can look to invade the speed as their counterparts, Neilmah, look to do the same.
But Verizial starts with Wind Siphon off at level 1, and that is not the best ability to be clearing buffs with. Yes, it gets him a little bit of pressure in the middle lane, but with a health pot, Venenu is totally safe and sound once more, but it takes a little bit longer for them to clear that speed buff away.
Both the supports are with their carries in the dual lane right now at the beginning of the game. A lot of pressure from Enemy in the middle lane, whereas Neilmah really focusing onto the solo lane here, trying to pressure MrMakey early on, steal away his blue buff, and then go back in again to take away the speed. Left-hand side, PandaCat looking for some poke on DayToRemeber. NeiruMah going to absorb a lot of that damage using Fafnir well, but the shell usage.
Wow, really liberal use of that relic there. I don't think he was in any danger of falling down, and even with all of that time spent poking out the opposition, the dual lane of Enemy still have enough time to invade this purple buff.
And then on top of that, you can see the left-hand side, the purple buff was just stolen, as you said, from Enemy on that left-hand side there. Now they're going to go back towards farming again. The right-hand harpies being picked up here as well. There's PandaCat and Ymir doing great work overall here, trying to pin them back in their own half of the map.
And on the right-hand side, it looks like Neilmah was able to do the counter invade there, steal away the speed buff of Enemy. So Skeeledon does end up with a speed buff around his waist, but overall, this start definitely favoring Enemy in how this game has started off. They're getting the invades happening on the left-hand side. They've got a ton of pressure in middle lane. It's really only Mackie on that right-hand side. That just seems to be the kind of strategy for Enemy. Leave him on an island by himself. We're not going to worry about him. We'll just win middle and left side and try and win the game from there.
Quick pause coming out here between the two teams. Obviously, he'll be back in game at any moment now. But this is very telling of what we saw from Enemy in the last game we casted as well.
Yeah.
When we saw the Ymir, MrMakey was focused, but they had a composition that got better as time got on. They just never had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And last time we saw that it was them having a botched sort of invade there on the left-hand side with Ymir, Izanami. This time, Enemy a little bit more passive in their beginnings, allowing the wave. They actually walked up with their own wave to guarantee it wasn't going to get proxied. And as a result, their start has been much better.
And that's one thing about these proxy waves farming at the start of the game. It can cost you awkward positions if you do get caught doing it. So yes, it is an advantage if you can pull it off, but the teams are starting to recognize just to ward early, be aware of it, and then you can collapse and cause the team a problem.
And it's no surprise to me that at the beginning of Season 4, in a situation like this, there's going to be some weird starts that teams aren't quite ready for, but the adaptation of these teams is so important early on.
Well, the red buff invaded by Enemy there after the purple, and now they're going to pick up the oracles around the Gold Fury pit. Free ward, why not? Job's a good one.
Not only that, but it just leads them very fluidly over to their left side buffs, and this is why you see Enemy starting to pull ahead a little bit, is because they still have both of these buffs remaining to be taken. The problem is, like we mentioned, Mackie on that right-hand side just hitting level 4. Kiki's been level 5 for quite some time.
Gank on the left, though, coming out here. Skeeledon just went to the sky with Thor, looking to go on to Ymir once again. PainDeViande on the focus target here. Immediately, though, Skeeledon does dip with his hammer, not looking for the double tap, looking to disengage, recognizing the pain was too healthy to really follow up on.
I think not only that, but he's level 5. He assumes that his hunter's going to be doing a lot of damage, and then he looks up and
level 3.
Oh man, DayToRemeber's level 3. He's got very little damage.
Venenu's going to go down for first blood. Khaos picks that one up thanks to the help of Venenu. Verizial, I should say. The ultimate was used by Verizial to secure that one. Venenu had Kraken available here, unable to confirm it, however, or even get chance to use it.
Purification beads are used as well, and there you see Verizial and Khaos have just been working together very, very well all day today. They've really been playing that duo style in the mid lane.
Do we really feel, though, that beads is the right option here against the opposition in the mid lane? Could Aegis not have kept him up a little bit longer? Because trying trying to cancel that siphon that's going to pull you in is so tricky to know when the right time is.
I don't think it's necessarily about that siphon. It's more about
Agni
the Ymir
bombs.
freezes and the Agni bombs. You can't really afford to sit there for 3 seconds of that Ymir freeze, and then on top of that, the Agni bomb duration. I think Purification was the right pickup, even if it isn't optimal in the 2v2.
And with Khaos as well in the mid lane on this Agni. Obviously, Agni, one of the better ones at conserving mana in the mid lane overall. His abilities, like his ultimate, for example, cost 0 mana. So he's not a spammer of abilities in the grand scheme of things, so it makes him very consistent during the early game.
And that's very, very helpful. Though his Flame Wave does cost a decent amount, as does Path of Flames. It's really only those Agni bombs that really don't cost any mana, and that's where you see his ability to clear the wave very early. It does struggle a little bit with mana consumption, just because he doesn't have that ultimate available until level 5, of course. But once he does hit 5, his total mana cost to clear buffs and waves goes way down.
Well, both these teams recognize how important this game is, especially with how the standings are looking so far and how tight it is between these teams in relegation, that they do fall back to just farming their own jungle here and not looking for the invades. The speed buff's down on either side, the blue down for enemy now, and the blue on the right available for Neilmah to take if they get an opportunity.
About 700 gold in the lead for enemy, and that's because of those early buff invades. So like you mentioned, they're not too concerned with doing it on the first respawn. 2,000 experience in the lead as well, and that again from the buff invades as well as that first blood onto Venenu in the middle lane.
But both teams kind of have the same power spike sort of situation, right? Around the mid game is what we're looking at, although Poseidon a little bit better in the early stages of the mid game rather than actual full-on mid game.
Yeah, I mean both compositions are actually very, very similar. Neilmah, I think, is really, really relying on that Nike passive in the later stages. I think that's going to be the thing that bumps their late game up a little bit better.
Love this call from Verizial here. He knows his jungler, his team on the dual lane are stealing away the purple buff, looking for the red. He was looking for a rotation out of Neilmah and pick somebody off, slow them down on the advance. Neilmah may have recognized that, so they actually just get both buffs on the left for absolutely free there, enemy.
So giving up the right side buffs, but going in on the left. On the right side, Skeeledon, he's up in the sky. There's the ultimate from MrMakey as well, but it's not going to matter. Skeeledon able to pick it up. Been all over the map with this Thor, making a great use of that ultimate.
Feed the Kiki, that's what it seems to be the state of the game with. If they can get him further ahead, very similar to what we saw coming out earlier today when they were trying to feed Mango to make sure he could get in that same spot. It could be the same tail of the tape for Neilmah that enemy have dealt with before.
And you can see the difference, the two junglers already. Skeeledon's 2 ganks on the side lanes, Verizial's only gank in the middle lane, trying to get Khaos ahead, and I've got no problem with that. Khaos absolutely has that carry ability.
Well, the Gold Fury has been pulled by enemy and over comes NeiruMah right now to see what's going on. Kiki forced to teleport in here as well. I think that was spotted by Khaos on the teleportation as well, so enemy just happy with the win. They got teleport for free.
Small win. All it cost them was a little bit of health on Verizial. That's about it, and I don't mind that teleport in from Kiki because he's only going to lose a couple melee creeps, it looks like, on the right-hand side. Still going to be able to get the gold from the majority of those archers, and only going to may not even lose any experience there, it looks like.
Well, both hunters in a very similar spot in terms of build so far. I say that as we do see PandaCat go back to base, working towards Transcendence now as well. Both with the Ninja Tabby looking for the attack speed options here in their builds. I guess they're a little bit worried about getting more attack speed online, not worried so much about the Warrior Tabby.
A little curious to see PandaCat go Ninja Tabi and then into Transcendence. Usually if someone's going Transcendence, they're all in committing to doing a more ability damage, which I think is the right call on Cupid because Cupid's ability scaling is just nuts. Heart Bomb scaling is huge, as is Fields of Love. So I don't mind the Transcendence pickup on Cupid whatsoever, but usually that's paired with the Warrior Tabi to give you that a little bit of extra power. Plus, with how strong the Shuriken tree is right now, you're getting a decent amount of attack speed from that direction anyways, but PandaCat's just trying to keep his hand in both pots, I suppose.
Well, both the supports have finally rotated from the dual lane experience so far, and you can see the advantage that stealing away the left-hand jungle has had on the enemy support here. PainDeViande is 2 levels up on NeiruMah right now, give or take a bit of experience there. So now that we get to this stage, is it very important for Ymir to be a little bit further ahead than the Fafnir?
I mean, Fafnir, he's more about buffing his teammates up, and Ymir is more worried about doing a little bit of damage himself. On the right-hand side, Skeeledon trying to confirm these fire elementals, and he will do just that. Both junglers look like they're opting for the early Hydra's Lament. I think both would really benefit from a Heartseeker right afterwards as well.
That might have been 1-for-1 over there. Freezing the mid lane, used into Venenu, going to force those beats
and
a second time here. And as you said, the shell, however, Skeeledon going to the sky, looking at Mackie again. Mackie falling back to the tower edge straight away, but the combo is very, very strong here. Lawbringer will get him into a decent range, but Kiki was waiting for the landing in perfect form. Ults himself in response, and meanwhile in the jungle, Khaos eats a Kraken, lives to fight fight another day.
Nice purification beads there from Khaos. Now on the right-hand side, Verizial trying to chase down Skeeledon. The Typhoon not going to reach there. Didn't have his third ability available to continue that chase. Verizial using the ult, not able to find the kill.
Well, PainDeViande was looking for a pick on Kiki here, but got to recognize there's people all around, and the freeze was there to deny NeiruMah entry there. He juked it out quite nicely. Overall, 2-1 on the scorelines. Goal difference still in enemy's favor.
And again, it's just Skeeledon making it happen for Kiki on that right-hand side. Kiki's gone into that Gladiator shield, trying to get a little bit of extra HP in that lane. I love this option on a god like Nike. You're going to be able to poke down the enemy pretty effectively with that Ren from a distance. And without any innate sustain, she's got great HP 5 as she levels up Plan of Action, her second ability. But outside of that, there's not any sustain, especially without the Death Toll procs that Nike players really use to stay healthy in lane. There's a great option to top yourself off with poke.
Well, Oracle is going to be taken again, third time in a row, I believe, in favor of enemy on this left-hand side. The buff's already down on the left-hand side as well, as PandaCat did steal away the red buff in the enemy jungle another time, and I believe the purple buff as well. So PandaCat doing a very good job in this lane with the support of PainDeViande to continue to extend the pressure of the dual lane of enemy.
Skeeledon is here just to try and relieve a little bit of pressure, but it's not at the right time as PandaCat is backing anyways. All this really does is take gold away from DayToRemeber. Not sure he can afford that right now. Down 2 levels and down in net worth pretty significantly as well. 400 gold, and that's mainly coming from those buff invades. PandaCat has been all over the enemy jungle.
Kiki's going to be a little bit careful here, looking to trade off with the camp. Verizial's going to pull him into the Typhoon as well, potentially. No, not going to use that one. Cancel that. As the Fire Giant does spawn at the same time there. PainDeViande hitting level 10 in the mid lane for the time being here. The best news for enemy, though, I guess, Aggro, is the fact that it's a very similar composition to early on today, but the issues they had, such as PainDeViande being focused by the Poseidon, isn't the case this time round.
No, that is good news. Venenu has not been able to connect a Kraken onto PainDeViande, and even despite Pain still trying to path through the jungle by himself a lot of the time. If Verizial is holding hands with Khaos and their roaming is 2, and PandaCat staying in lane, then it means that Pain is going to be walking around by himself most of the time, or he's with the combination of Verizial and Khaos. Yeah. So he's got to be wary of that, and Neilmah should recognize that and try and find that immobile Ymir in the jungle.
But now he does have his Heartward Amulet online, so a little bit more magical protection for him that he did have with an early Krakens on in the game earlier on. I did like what we saw in dual lane there as well. PandaCat freezing the wave against DayToRemeber, making sure DayToRemeber does not get experience here. The moment Day tries to walk up here, PandaCat could just all in him and look for the kill, especially with being level 12. 3-level lead over. He needs help in this lane, but there's no help coming from Nilmar.
Yeah, NeiruMah has to be the one to go over there and help him out. The support, I mean, you're going to get a little bit less farm, yes, but it's better than the no farm that DayToRemeber is getting right now. You can see Skeeledon, he wants to go over there, but
he has to.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't know where the wards are. He can't really try and make a gank because he's down a level to PandaCat, and I don't think they realize how little damage they have.
Has been popped on the left-hand side. I know for a fact DayToRemeber's in trouble there. Has to dash back to the tower with a heart bomb on him, as well as Pain was zoning away Skeeledon there as well. Like the reaction from enemy to zone the jungle when they recognized they were trying to relieve the pressure.
No problem there, though, for DayToRemeber. Yes, he takes a lot of damage, but saves that purification, so he's not in danger of dying to that next ultimate timer. Kiki's made the rotation. Sentinel of Zeus, big slow. Skeeledon looking for Khaos. His dash is down. There's the spin, but he's doing it back.
And still, though, Skeeledon gets out. Khaos is going to fall to Kiki now. Good freeze from Pain onto DayToRemeber, who's going to try and get away. Verizial giving chase, looking to clean up the kill. The silence will deny Verizial an opportunity, who jumps straight into a Kraken that's not enough for a kill just yet.
He's going to be able to escape, as will DayToRemeber. Only Khaos to fall, and great target recognition there by Skeeledon. Skeeledon and Kiki have been working so well together. That's exactly what you expect. The only two on this team that have been on this team together for quite some time. Venenu, NeiruMah, DayToRemeber, all newer additions to this roster, but the longer time teammates of Kiki and Skeeledon working together great.
And now Kiki's in an awkward position there, but luckily enough gets away. Believe that his beads he does have on in line to be able to jump out of those potential bad situations, or...
No, I believe that Triple stopped the Fearless from MrMakey, which allowed him to jump away. Gold Fury getting a little bit low there, about 130 HP. Mackie trying to zone, but he's only level 12. I don't think he can do that.
You can't lure out of that situation. The enemy will always win. Mackie down again. Now it's his third death so far, trying to make these rotations. Meanwhile, Kiki is getting there in terms of build, in terms of his passive.
He's gone for the Gauntlet of Thieves here, trying to group up with his team and provide just some extra protections, and really utilizing that big health gain he gets from it as well.
With Maki being dead, they're trying to force the goal for you, but Skeeledon in the sky, looking for a dunk down. Pain is an option, and Pain is the focus, but he ults to avoid the stun, and the turnaround on Skeeledon is just way too much. NeiruMah now in a world of hurt as well, having to leap away, but the flame wave just great from Khaos to clean up another. Now Kiki's the one surrounded by 4 members of enemy.
It was a bait all along. Skeeledon got baited in. MrMakey around the side finds the Fearless, the power cleave on a DayToRemeber. Verizial's gonna be able to clean him up with that Wind Siphon. Gold Fury available, 3 dead for Neilmah, and that lead they worked so hard to get, slipping away quickly.
And now Maki and PainDeViande going to zone away Neilmah from trying to contest the goal through each. Also goes the way of enemy 2. A huge fight, a big turning point at the start of this game.
And Skeeledon just gets baited there. It's so tempting. They've got 3 grouped up. One of them is a level 11 Ymir, but that's a level 11 Ymir. He's got plenty of HP, and the big thing is Skeeledon doesn't have that purification. As soon as he came landing down, Pain went right into the shards of ice, avoiding that stun. Well-timed ultimate from him, but it was the Fields of Love from PandaCat. No option for Skeeledon to teleport away to that Mjolnir's attunement. Really, really nice bait there by enemy.
I'm looking towards late game as well with how this one's going so far. Yes, enemy have a lead, but in the later stages here, Aggro, these teams are relatively even in terms of gods that do well.
Yeah, exactly. Both mid laners pretty decent in the late game, but not great. I mean, both really zone control sort of characters. Yeah. Agni there, probably a little bit better because he's safer in the late game.
And the dash.
Exactly. Yeah. But the big difference, Neilmah has the Nike. If they can fulfill all 3 goals of that Nike passive, get that extra movement speed, get that extra power across all 5 members of the team, if Nike gets to late game, it's very, very difficult to deal with that whole group that has that Nike passive.
Thinking about Venenu on this Poseidon as well in the late game, if he does get there, do we expect to see a Fatalis just to give him a little bit more mobility away from the danger zone?
I mean, I wouldn't mind it. Give him a little bit of kite ability and up against that Susano, who's so good at chasing you down. I mean,
the Knight passive as well.
Yeah, you're race car Poseidon with only Fatalis. You don't even have to worry about anything else.
And then we'll see how this one works out as the game continues on. Back into game again after the second pause of this one so far. Good siege by Neilmah on the right-hand side here, looking to pressure back enemy, get a bit of gold back, answer some of that gold fury deficit that we saw earlier on.
Neilmah has also had games, basically every team so far today, Hindu, with the exception of a memory of Gabe, has had 1 or 2 games where they look absolutely great, and then other games where they look like they don't even belong in this sort of level, and then it's just like both sides.
DayToRemeber is going to take a tumble under the tier 2 tower there, looking to defend the purple buff and the red. Meanwhile, right-hand side, the bomb's raining down by Khaos because Neilmah are looking for the portal demon, but now Khaos is in a bit of trouble here. Skeeledon not going to find an option there. Looking towards PainDeViande. Pain is going to fall down here eventually. Good work on zoning from Khaos to return some damage, but it's not enough as the tier 1 and left falls. The demon started again.
And Neilmah needs to get something out of this because the push on left side is way too strong to deal with. Kiki is actually starting to teleport over there. Great wall there from Skeeledon to make sure that Kiki could get that teleport to go off. If Maki could have found the Fearless, it would have prevented that teleport, which would have potentially bought an enemy enough time to get the tier 2.
I mean, in my eyes, it was DayToRemeber dying for PainDeViande and a tower for a tower, so I'm happier from enemy, I guess. With DayToRemeber being shut down a little bit longer, reinforcements from Nilmar do appear to defend the tier 2, but that is on its last legs.
PandaCat has just been either invisible or dominant. There's no in between with this guy, it seems like right now. With this game, 4 levels up on DayToRemeber. This Cupid, no kills, no deaths, but 3 assists and 3rd on his team in player damage. Just really, really strong showing from PandaCat today.
It's a bit scary as well because people were saying, you know, it's all about pushing the early game, getting the advantage, but Cupid and some of the other hunters on the weaker end of push power can be still ran as long as you've got a support that can make that happen.
I mean, who are the 2 quote-unquote best hunters right now? Apollo, Izanami. Cupid has great matchups against both of those gods.
Which brings him back into things as well. Kiki here to look at the Portal Demon. Verizial closest towards Neilmah is around the corner. Comes Skeeledon looking to draw attention. It does force the reset. The blink from Verizial's good though. Skeeledon's in a bit of trouble with the bombs raining down. The Kraken does not kill Verizial. Verizial kills Skeely.
He's got him there. Maki over the top with the Lawbringer. Force out the purification from Venenu, so he turns around and lets him escape. 1 dead right now for Neilmah. On the left-hand side, DayToRemeber getting some much-needed farm for himself.
For sure, but meanwhile, the Portal Demon still being ticked away on by Enemy, looking to burst it down. Pain on zone duty, and the Portal Demon goes the way of Enemy. More global gold. Not a whole lot, but some global gold into the coffers of Enemy.
Blast just giving them the ability to use this teleporter and portal if necessary. Mid-Harpies looks like goes the way of Enemy there, and again, it's just Skeeledon trying to play aggressively when he doesn't have his purification up. That was the problem there. We saw him actually kind of waste it on that kill for PainDeViande on the bottom right Harpies last engagement, and then it comes back to bite him, not able to get out of the CC chain from Verizial.
I will say Skeeledon and Venenu together, like, I think they're both good individual players. They just struggle to find some synergy with their gank potential. I mean, you've got a Thor and a Poseidon, both very, very strong at the level 5 fights, but we're not really seeing them look to combine at all.
And we haven't looked to see them combine on the Ymir. I mean, all it takes is one Ymir wall, or one Thor wall into a whirlpool, and where's Ymir going? Nowhere. He doesn't have Windblade, he doesn't have Sprint, he's got no way to get out of that except walking out, and with the Gem of Isolation going to be complete very soon here for Venenu, that is a ton of guaranteed damage, and we haven't seen it happen once yet.
Well, tier 1 tower in the mid does fall now. That's 2 towers down in favor of Enemy at the moment in the grand scheme of things. The left-hand tower is on its last legs for Enemy right now. DayToRemeber's done a good job of trying to farm up, playing safe, just to keep things going. But meanwhile, Enemy still on a tear, looking to continue to steal away these buffs in the jungle away from Neilmah.
And that's exactly what they've done all game long, and that's how PandaCat has been able to get this lead. In the middle lane, Kiki split pushing Skeeledon, forced up into the sky right away. That time saves his purification. Actually has gone for a teleport as his second relic, trying to get back in these fights with this global rotation. We saw this was very popular on Thor for quite a while in Season 3. Then players started going back towards that Sanctuary or Aegis, but now Skeeledon trying to make that happen.
And Kiki a little bit out of position after taking the tier 1 tower, dueling with Verizial, but with the leap able to just walk back towards the mid lane. It did stop Gold Fury started by Enemy for a second, but we know Skeeledon's ult is on cooldown. Skeeledon farming the right hand side of the map. This will be a 4-on-5 at best.
Cold Fury getting very, very low. There's the Heart Bomb, there's the Secure with the Agni bombs as well. Second Gold Fury of the game goes into Enemy's favor. 8K gold lead early on here, pre-20 minutes. Enemy looking very, very strong.
Very strong for the time being anyway. I mean, we've seen games go this way and then come back sometimes, but right now, Neilmah just seem to be off the pace just ever so slightly. I'm not exactly sure what the issue with the pace is with them. Is it more reactionary? Is it just not syncing correctly with someone?
I mean, they've had no pressure on the left-hand side all game. That's been the real big difference for me, is that DayToRemeber has not gotten a buff on the left whatsoever. It's been all PandaCat stealing those away with the help of his mid, his jungle, his support, whoever is able to help him out at the time. And I mean, Neilmah got off to a great start, pressuring the right-hand side, killing MrMakey multiple times in lane, but then they weren't able to steal the buffs away on top of that. And even though Enemy wasn't getting kills on the left, they were stealing away those buffs, and you could see how much more important that is in the long run.
MrMakey forced a Lawbringer away there pretty early there. Didn't want to stand around and try and juke out, just thought Lawbringer, play it safe, get back to safety. The issue for Neilmah now as well, with the tier 2 tower down being in left, they've got to make sure nobody's going to take the Phoenix for free on the left-hand side. At the same time, is where the majority of the focus will be is around the fire giant now too. So they pulled from one pillar to the other. Very,
very difficult to defend that sort of split push. Luckily for them, Cupid, not the greatest split pusher in the world, doesn't have a ton of mobility outside of the dash, and then, you know, no attack speed steroid to really help him out with shredding those objectives, whereas a god like Izanami for DayToRemeber, that's a great split push god just because of that attack speed steroid, really getting her damage up there quickly.
This is a good little play coming out from Neilmah there, just to secure this tier 1 tower, push down the left-hand side. Enemy aren't really doing anything right now. They need to make a call to do something in response to the tower push on the left. It looks like that's the call to go towards mid lane, because Neilmah are not in position to defend this just yet.
I don't know if they're going to be able to defend this. You can see left side, they're backing up. No, they're going to go and try and commit to that tier 2 tower. No teleport actually is available for MrMakey. You can see immediately heading on over to that left-hand side. So all Neilmah get is that tier 1, whereas Enemy, they get a tier 2.
I know what Mackey's doing, trying to stop the back of these two characters so their team in mid can take the Phoenix down. Kiki's here to defend, too little too late though. The Phoenix has already fallen. On the left-hand side, Mackey's done his job perfectly. He's just going to be careful about positioning here. NeiruMah already used the ultimate, investment into PainDeViande for the time being. Tyr on the left-hand side is still doing fine, and Skeeledon did not find the ultimate on to MrMakey. Meanwhile, the fight with the Fields of Love, Kiki's in trouble.
He's going to have to jump out of that. There's the Kraken, but not going to find the center mark there for Venenu. Verizial still going in. Nice stun there by NeiruMah to peel for his solo laner, MrMakey. did get forced back to base, which opens up that tier 2 tower on left for Neilmah to take, but like you mentioned, middle Phoenix falls in addition to the middle tier 2. Enemy coming up in that engagement as well.
Good call from Enemy over there, just playing the map as they needed to, sending MrMakey back there, keeping too busy. Doesn't die for it either, which is a very nice investment there. Only cost him his Lawbringer overall, so he'll be happy enough that his team got a Phoenix and trade for that.
Yeah, no problem there. I've got no problem with Makey ended up losing that tower. It's fine. I mean, you're 2v1 up against a mid-game Izanami and a Thor that's the same level as you, so it's very difficult to deal with that as a warrior that can't clear the wave without getting up into it by yourself. Just keeping them from backing and opening up that middle Phoenix there by MrMakey.
Well, the Pole Demon did fall. You heard the noise there, going the way of Enemy now. And so it's ward coverage around the Fire Giant, and actually starting the Fire Giant here is Enemy. KikiSoCheeky, the only one around to give vision for Nilmar. NeiruMah in the backside there, and now Skeeledon joining in. Here comes the collapse, but the zone is good so far.
There's the freeze onto Kiki, immediately into the heart bomb, and the bombs raining down from Khaos. Stun is good. He's getting very low. There's the gigantic shield right into the Fearless Power Cleave, but Kiki's still safe for now.
But that ultimate is now on cooldown for Kiki. He has teleport available. May need to go back to base here. MrMakey doing a good job on the front line to just keep all the members together. However, Enemy looks like they really want to fight here if they can. Not looking for the Fire Giant just yet, although PandaCat has once again started it up.
Teleport denied there. Kiki tried to teleport in. He's going to have to use that tower. PandaCat and Pain just trying to duo down this Fire Giant. Khaos is in here as well, though he is a little bit poked. Pain going to go right around 50% HP with that missed hit there. Viriziel still trying to zone on the front side. The rest of his team looks like they're content backing up.
Well, this has worked out okay for Neilmah, I guess. I mean, the Fire Giant hasn't gone down yet. The Portal Demon's down, so they can't have respawns coming through. And they also get that whole Fire Minion wave in mid lane from hitting the Titan, which was one of Enemy's extra win conditions there, potentially.
Yeah, exactly. Just making sure that they're getting those waves into the Titan room. But Neilmah still buying time. They aren't at that 10k deficit quite yet. They're still fairly close in levels. It's not super close, but that XP difference starts to get less and less relevant as the game goes on, because once these members of Enemy hit 20, it doesn't matter anymore. That XP difference is negligible once you hit 20 as well. The only problem for Neilmah is they are still a ways away from completing that Nike passive. They still need 5 more kills. They need to double up their kills, as well as they need 2 members to hit level 20. Skeeledon's the closest, sitting at level 18. So DayToRemeber or Kiki need to be worried about their farm, trying to get to level 20 just for that extra boon from the Nike passive.
MrMakey was a mobile ward for his team there on Enemy, because they got the gold here on the left-hand side. Enemy here, great tornado out of Viriziel there, looking to do some damage. Venenu in a bit of trouble here. PandaCat looking to clean him up, but DayToRemeber destroyed Viriziel. They underestimated the power of Izanami.
There's the slow from Kiki. Khaos trying to peel for himself with the bombs. There's the wall from PainDeViande, just trying to disengage the rest of Enemy. 1 for 0. Neilmah able to pick it up. Viriziel had his Purification, had his Blink, didn't end up using either one there.
And now the pressure is actually in Neilmah's favor for the timing, just to buy time. The middle Phoenix about to respawn here. A couple more Fire Minions waves to go. So it's going to be a stall tactic now for Neilmah to try and even things up for the time being. Enemy can't do a whole lot unless they can find a pick.
No, they're going to need to try and find one, but Kiki is here to make sure that nothing happens around that Fire Giant side. A little bit of pressure put onto this right-hand tier 1 tower, only worth 500 gold, though it does help open up that Fire Giant pit a little bit more. Middle Phoenix has respawned for Neilmah. PandaCat still making his way here. Enemy, they're just going to back up with their victory.
Yeah, they get a free tier 1, and I guess they're happy to cut the losses after Viriziel dying, but now he has respawned. It was his first tumble of the game, so it's not been like some previous situations where Viriziel's had a struggle. Skeeledon is frozen in place. No beads. Good night, sweet prince. Skeeledon has fallen. Fire Giant was aggroed, and PandaCat's going to take that as an opportunity to start it up.
May as well. DayToRemeber backing in middle lane as well, so it's going to be very difficult for Neilmah to get in here and contest this Fire Giant again. Skeeledon is caught in the wrong spot without his relic.
Kiki going aggressive onto Khaos, but frozen in place. He's already leaped his down as well. Tornado will hit as well from Viriziel, and there's another kill. 2 members down, and NeiruMah is trying to help out to deal with MrMakey on the back, who's making sure Venenu can't get involved. Fire Giant, the way of Enemy.
Just, again, it seems like Skeeledon and Kiki on different pages than everyone else on the team there. Kiki goes in right after DayToRemeber had backed in middle lane when he really didn't need to, I don't think. And the rest of the team just kind of watched as their solo laner Fafnir went in, and he wasn't trying to steal Fire Giant necessarily because of his target selection. You could see he actually jumped on top of Khaos, trying to poke him out, trying to initiate the retreat from the Fire Giant, but the rest of his team needed to be there if that was the call. Just not quite on the same page quite
This
yet.
Phoenix being backdoored now by Enemy on the right-hand side. NeiruMah looking for the hammer, not going to find it. Eats 3 crits in a row from PandaCat and forced to jump out before Khaos lands that bomb. This Phoenix is at half health. The minion wave now coming in, which means it'll be even easier to take this time round.
And PandaCat, he doesn't have a whole lot of penetration, only on that Aussie, but it's still enough. Over the top, Lawbringer, Skeeledon, great Berserker's Barrage, give him that knock-up immunity. DayToRemeber, he's got to use that, but that Kraken is great!
And he's going to force the ages of 2 characters. Skeeledon to the backline, looking for clean-up crew with a double tap. In trouble is both the PandaCat and Khaos. Both of them have fallen. Viriziel, though, does pick up Skeeledon in response, and PainDeViande falls as well. Neilmah, a 4 members strong here. Viriziel running towards mid lane. Makey back towards his jungle. Neilmah have an opportunity to try and take some towers, some map advantage back. Only lose a Phoenix.
Love the play there from Skeeledon. I think a lot of people probably miss what the idea is there. He's suiciding to make sure they can get 2 kills there, trading his life out 2-1. Most of Neilmah here trying to get this portal demon. They need to be careful. Viriziel actually just used Typhoon to clear the wave as fast as possible to try and get this middle Phoenix.
Mid-lane
but
fight.
with Kiki here, I don't think he'll be able to.
Viriziel wants his Phoenix real bad, and Kiki's trying to block him in place, but he didn't leap in time. Viriziel will clean up the second Phoenix, working out in a 2v4 scenario. Very important play.
And that's just the mobility of Susano there, really showing off exactly how difficult it is to defend against him. So overall, that wouldn't have been great for Enemy had they only gotten that right side Phoenix, but now that Viriziel is able to backdoor that middle weakened Phoenix, all in all, if you lose 3 for 2 Phoenixes, you're usually okay with that.
Yeah, it's not all doom and gloom. Obviously, for the situation this game has been in for so long, though, Aggro, they won't be happy about that. The viewers at home will be like, well, that wasn't a great play. But at the end of the day, 2 Phoenixes is still 2 Phoenixes.
Exactly, and now you were able to push down this left-hand side very, very easily. Only Viriziel and Makey still having that Fire Giant buff for the next minute and a half or so. You can see Viriziel has finished off his build, going for a power potion now. He's got that Mantle of Discord for a little bit of extra cooldown reduction, as well as the protections and that great passive for when he's in the thick of things.
And with the respawn time is getting a little bit longer now as we approach the 30-minute mark here. The big key between these 2 teams is making sure you don't get picked, because it can turn around very quickly. If that happens again here, Neilmah could get a Phoenix, minimum.
Very, very easily. I mean, the push power from DayToRemeber is very, very strong. I already touched on that. And he's got the Titan's Bane as well as the Aussie. Plenty of penetration. He can tread through a Phoenix very quickly by himself, let alone with someone like Skeeledon with him.
Makey keeping too busy in the mid lane as the left-hand side enemy is starting to group up for the Phoenix. Good poke onto NeiruMah already coming out from PandaCat there. Pain going to get a freeze, and they're really looking for the Dwarf there, who's going to ult defensively. Skivvy in the sky, it collapses onto Pain. Pain's in trouble. 1 hit from Death, but the Hearts come into play.
There's the jump onto him. Skeeledon is still not able to pick him up. Kiki as well, can't find him. He's trying to run away now. Over the top, Lawbringer hits 3. Venenu forced to use his beads.
And Aegis.
There it is, just able to miss that Fearless Power Cleave combination. Viriziel diving all the way into the Titan room, able to pick up Kiki.
And DayToRemeber wasn't able to clean up the kill in response there. PandaCat's in a lot of trouble here. He's forced to Aegis as well, but the bombs from Khaos are doing so much damage right now. Viriziel at nearly 20,000 player damage, 30 minutes in, 5 minutes to the left, 5 minutes to the right, and the team of Enemy looking to close this one out.
I mean, again, Susano gets all the way down to last pick for Viriziel, who is just so comfortable on this god. Though he may fall on the right side here, it doesn't even matter. Not enough time for Skeeledon to pick up his jungle opposition in 30 minutes. Enemy take down Neilmah.
Big important game there for Enemy as well. Gives them those 3 wins, which we're seeing as potentially the clutch scenario here as well. Viriziel, fantastic game. About 20, a lot of player damage in that one as well. Led from the forefront.
Very, very strong play from him. And like I mentioned, I mean, we saw so much of Susano yesterday in Europe. We haven't seen it at all, I don't think, today in NA so far. But very, very strong right now. Very, very synergistic with the Bluestone Pendant, along with Hydra's Lament, still very strong on him. But you also got to give shout outs to the Heartseeker. So good on a character like Susano.
Oh, for sure. Viriziel just doing wonders for his team overall. Right from minute go, to be honest, because we saw the gank onto Venenu that put Venenu on the back front right at the beginning of the game with that wraparound pressure in the mid lane one more time.
Very, very strong. You can see even there, he picks up Kiki in the fountain. And if that kill doesn't happen, maybe Neilmah have enough frontline to stop that push in the Titan room. But Viriziel, just so difficult to lock down in that mobile assassin.
Well,